So yesterday we learned about like the two different types of temples, or you could say like the establishment of deities. And the first one is like Swasthatista, and that is like the feeling of like establishing the deity at your own home for yourself and for your family. And once you have established the deity at your own home, you should perform this service for that deity with Tanuvitaja. And the next type of establishment of deity is Pararpratistha, which is like the deity for everyone, and the devotion of the deity should not be performed with Pushti, with not the way that Sri Mahaprabhuji has prescribed, but it should be like run with the Maryada principle. But the problem today is that most temples are run with a personal deity, but everybody comes to see it's like open to everyone. But this should not happen, because since if it's meant for everyone, then it should be followed with Maryada principle, and that is not what's happening. It's instead following Swasthatista based on Sri Mahaprabhuji's principles. So that is like what is like wrong in today's temples.
Yeah. Only the temples which are run on the name of which are exposed in the name of Pushtibhakti Sampradaya. We are just discussing about those temples, not about the temples we have, the other temples like Dwarka and Jagannath Puri, etc. Those are very clear about their traditions, and they don't have any relation with Swat Pratishtha. They have been exposing themselves and running the whole system with the help of the traditions which are explained in the Shastra only. So there is nothing wrong about them.
Can I talk about the example of the Nadwara?
Yes.
So today in Nadwara, Nadwara is a public temple which is being run on Shri Vallabh's name, even though he doesn't have anything to do with the system. And Shri Vallabh's only role here was establishing Thakurji's deity in the temple with Bhagwan's wish only. So basically the government made Nadwara a public temple with the Tilkayat's wish and the permission of the other members of the Goswami family. And the Tilkayat was earning money by being the partial owner of the temple, and he was running the place in Shri Vallabh and the Pushti sect's name. And Shri Vallabh only preached us about using the Swat Pratishtha, so he doesn't have anything to do with this matter. So that's why we shouldn't visit Nadwara.
Yes, you are right. Same is the problem there also, and same is the problem with each and every Haveli we have in Pushtibhakti in our sect. All the Havelis are also the example of the same problem.
Can I summarize?
Yes. Yes, do that. Your phone is mute.
Swat Pratishtha is for Pushti beings only. So we do seva in our house with our family, with Tanu, with the Ja principle. This is the preferred method according to Sri Mahaprabhuji. Parartha Pratishtha is for non-Pushti beings. When they want to do darshan for Bhagwan, they go to these temples which have Parartha Pratishtha, which is meant for a community of large group or of people. This is like a public temple. Pushti beings can go for darshan to only to temples which follow Shastra and do puja according to Shastra. Only when we cannot do seva but wish for darshan, we can go there. The best way for us is to do seva in our own homes and follow teaching of Sri Vallabhacharya.
So basically, the main thing is that in Pushtibhakti Sampradaya, we don't have tradition of Pararth Pratishtha. Pararth Pratishtha is not allowed in our Sampradaya. That's the main thing. So even if anyone tries to do Pararth Pratishtha at any temple and runs that on the name of Pushtibhakti Sampradaya, it is wrong. Because Pararth Pratishtha can only be done in Maryada Margya tradition, and only the tradition of Swarth Pratishtha is possible in our Sampradaya. So we don't have any scope of having a public temple in our Sampradaya.
I can start.
Anyone else? Yes. Start.
Okay, so we talked about how Thakurji was neither Pushti or Maryada. We talked about how he's in his original form, and we can't discriminate that. And we talked about how the difference was in the difference in the establishment of the deity. So for our Pushti Bhakti path, it's Swadhyay Pratishtha, which is meaning that I'm establishing it for me and my family, and the public cannot participate. While for Maryada, it's Pushtiparat Pratishtha, which is established for the whole community or caste or whole nation. And if we're aware, and the temples now, they're not really clear about the system that they're basing the temples on. So like there's temples that say that they're Maryada, but then they also include Sri Mahaprabhuji, and they include our Pushti Marg tradition, even though it shouldn't be a part of it, and that's going against our path. And then we also we can't visit the temples that aren't clear about their systems, because no one has a right. And then like they're corrupt sometimes, or they aren't clear about what their temple is all about. And they sometimes like there's people who try to claim that they have right to a certain deity even though it's to the public, and that's a common issue today as well.
Yes. The only problem we have with these public temples in Pushti Bhakti Marg is that they are propagating it on the name of Mahaprabhuji. You can do anything if you want to do on your own name, with your own independence. No one is going to interfere and no one is going to ask you. There are dozens of thousands and lakhs of people in India, and many those type of person who have no relation with any of the religion, but have been propagating independent paths on their own name without considering anyone. As there are dozens of saints and monks, that's the different thing, who is right and who is wrong, who is fake and who is real. These are the different things. But there are dozens and thousands of paths in India which have no relation to Hinduism and no relation with any of the religion, but each and everyone is propagating it on their own name, and people are following them, those who have the faith in them. So what we want is that stop taking the name of Mahaprabhuji, stop taking the name of Pushti Bhakti Sampradaya, and then you can do whatever you like to. We won't interfere, we won't question you, we won't ask you anything. But the only problem is with the wrong propagation going on in the name of, by taking the name of Mahaprabhuji. That's where the problem is. Just don't take the name of Pushti Bhakti Sampradaya and Mahaprabhuji, then we don't have any relation with you, and you are not at all answerable to anyone. You are an independent person, and let the people who have faith in you follow you. I hope the subject is very clear with everyone.
I have a question.
Yes.
So Swarth Pratishtha means the establishment of Thakurji for a single family or a person. So, and Tanuvityaja means performing Bhagwan Seva with our mind, body and wealth. So is Swarth Pratishtha and Tanuvityaja related to each other?
Exactly. Tanuvityaja can only be done if you have established the deity for you and your family. In Pararth Pratishtha, no one can perform Tanuvityaja Seva. It is impossible. Can you try to explain it? Why it is not possible to perform Tanuvityaja Seva in Pararth Pratishtha with public temple?
So in Pararth Pratishtha basically means that performing seva for the public, and it's you basically in Tanuvityaja you can't perform Tanuvityaja with while doing Pararth Pratishtha, because Tanuvityaja means doing Shri Krishna's worship with a mind, body and wealth. But today people are they're basically worshipping Bhagavan and making a profit, so they're not doing Tanuvityaja there, because you need to use your mind, body and wealth. But it's
the main problem with the public temple is that the deity belongs to public. When we are creating a public trust, the deity belongs to public. Now, not a single person. So, for example, I am donating some wealth, some money in the temple for the expenses happening in the worshipping Bhagwan. They will use that money in worshipping the deity. Not from a single person, but from whoever gives the money there. So it means that Vityaja is not possible for a single person. It is done by everyone. It is a open invitation. It is like open invitation. Whoever comes there, they can donate money for performing seva. Now the second thing is about the deity himself, because deity doesn't belong to a single person. Deity belongs to the public. So no, not a single person has right on the deity, but each and every person visiting the place and the trust who has created that, each and everyone has a right on the deity. So single person cannot claim the right. Third thing is that, for example, if you want to do Tanuja Seva with your own body, how can you use your body in the Seva? You can use it partially, you cannot use it completely. So Tanuvityaja Seva is impossible in a public temple. It can only be done if the deity belongs to you, yourself, your family. If you are using your own money in the Seva, you have established the deity in your own house and nowhere else. And whatever is being done with by your family or a single person only. So Tanuvityaja Seva is impossible in Pararth Pratishtha. It can only be done in Swarth Pratishtha. I am very glad that you understood this point.
yes, Raj, I understand.
Okay. Sorry, I am not able to hear you. I am not able to hear you.
I have a question, Raja.
Yes.
So, how do you know a temple is suitable to get darshan? Like, how do you know it's following the shastra and everything?
See, actually, for now we have dozens of temples in India. Lakhs and lakhs of temples in India. But as Mahaprabhuji has mentioned some temples, and Mahaprabhuji has explained the tradition in Tattvardik Nibandh, Mahaprabhuji explains that Jagannathe Srirange cha Vitthale Venkate tatha yatra puja pravahasya tatra tishthet sa tatpara. Well, this is not the verse exactly for mentioning the temples in India, but this is the verse for explaining the person who is not able to perform seva at his own place. So Mahaprabhu is explaining that you can stay at such a place where deity is worshipped with the Maryada Vargya traditions. So for that, Mahaprabhu is mentioning the names of the temple in Dwarka, Jagannath Puri, Tirupati Balaji, Pandharpur, Vittalnathji, Srirangaji, Badrikashram, etc. So these are actually the main thing about these temples is that they were not established by a person's wish, but those temples were established because Bhagavan had the wish to stay there. So with the wish of Bhagavan, Bhagavan resides there all the time, and because of some special incidents which happened there in the history, those temples were established, and they have the tradition of thousands of years, not for now or yesterday. And the third thing about there is that the traditions going on there are Maryada Margya traditions, which are explained in the Shastra. Now, when we talk about the faults, when we talk about the layback points, then we must be very clear that even if we are performing seva at our own place, even then we have lots and lots of problems sometimes. We are not able to manage things sometimes in spite of having a big family. Then how to manage a public temple having thousands of people involved in it? So we can find many mistakes there, we can find many faults there, and it has to happen because management cannot manage everything completely. And the main problem is about the interference of government in India, because wherever you have a public temple, you are creating a trust, and government has the hold on that trust. So when government will interfere, you cannot manage with everything there and can follow the Shastriya tradition, because in India we no more have religious rules, but we have constitutional rules. So we have to face some problems, and many traditions cannot be followed, or we can find many mistakes there. But even then, we can say that, well, those temples, we can visit those places because Bhagavan is residing there with his own wish. But, well, this is not at all compulsory. For example, I am not finding myself satisfied after visiting the temple, then you don't need to go there. No one is compelling you to go there. It is just by our own choice. If we want to go, we can visit such places where deity is established for the public and the tradition is of Maryada Margya tradition and has no name of Pushtibhakti Sampradaya. We can visit those places only if we find them pleasing. As we have an example of the story of a student of Sri Mahaprabhuji, Rana Vyas, he, after leaving his home, first of all he went to Padmanabha Swami in Kerala, and there the deity is very huge, the size of the deity is very huge, and therefore you cannot even have a darshan of the deity in a single glimpse. You have to go through the 3 doors for having the darshan of the deity. So Rana Vyas found that I am not even able to have a look at the Bhagavan properly, then what's the use of coming here? After that he went to Jagannath Puri. So in Jagannath Puri he was very much frustrated with the people visiting that place, with the public and with the lots and lots of people being there. Then he went to Dwarka. Even in Dwarka, the Pandits were asking for money from him. So he was not even satisfied there. After that, he met Sri Mahaprabhuji. So the thing is that no one is compelling us to have a darshan at a public temple. When we have Sri Krishna at our own place, when we are performing seva at our own place, we don't need to go anywhere in this world. Whatever we have, everything is at our own house only. If we have, say, Gokul and Vrindavan and whatever these places are, everything is at our own place when we have Shri Thakurji at our own place. Braj resides where Shri Thakurji is. It is not the name of any geographical place. So same is about the temples also. Now those temples have the tradition of thousands of the years, and Bhagavan is residing there with his own independent wish. So we respect those traditions. And if we find ourselves satisfied with having a darshan there, we can go there. But if we find some faults, we find some mistakes, we don't find ourselves satisfied with the traditions, then we don't need to go anywhere. it's okay. We can stay at our own place. There is nothing like compelling anyone. It depends upon our own independent choice.
Raja,
I have a question. Raja, are there definitions for Swarpratishta?
Ashini can ask first.
Oh. Yeah, so in Nathdwara, in Jatipura the Srinathji had been, the temple of Srinathji had been established with Pararth Pratishtha, but in Pararth Pratishtha that means that everything should be followed with the Maryada teachings and values, but we can see like many instances where the sukh of Shri, or like there's like very like rigid codes that you have to follow in the Maryada when you're following Maryada Marg and doing the seva of Shri Thakurji. But even though that this was the case, there can be like many instances that can be found where like the sukh of Shri Thakurji was considered. Like for example, in Maryada Marg, like Thakurji always has to be like showered with cold water, but you can still use but I'm pretty sure that like maybe when it's cold you can use like warm water to shower Shri Nathji. So why is this the case?
Yesterday I tried to clarify this point, that the first problem with Mahaprabhuji was that it was not possible for him to stay there. So Mahaprabhuji couldn't have managed the things going on there. Second problem was about the tradition going on even before Sri Mahaprabhuji. Because even before Sri Mahaprabhuji was there at Jatipura, the people like Sadhu Pandey, his daughter, and the other Brajvasis staying in Jatipura, they used to worship Srinathji by offering the milk and etc. Because Bhagavan had a direct interaction with them even before Mahaprabhuji had arrived there. So they were already performing the seva with their own independence and whatever they knew. And even if we go through the history, Mahaprabhuji had offered Sadhu Pandey only for the first time to perform seva of Srinathji. He said that you people have been doing this since many days, you can continue that. But Sadhu Pandey said that we are villagers, we don't have that much brain to understand the things, so please establish the proper system. We were doing this with the order of Bhagavan and we don't have any understanding about these things. So when those villagers rejected, only then Mahaprabhuji found some people from the town, from the village. Now the third thing is that if Mahaprabhuji wanted the Pushtimargi tradition there, Mahaprabhuji would have Mahaprabhuji would have established Srinathji in someone's house or in his own house. But when it was a public temple, it was not necessary to follow the Pushti traditions, and therefore Mahaprabhuji gave the right of seva to the Bengali Brahmins staying in Jatipura who were not even Vaishnavas. They were Shakta, means the people who worshipped Shakti, Devi. So they had no relation with Vaishnavism. But in Maryada Margiya tradition, you are just a pujari and it is a public, the temple is for public. So it is not considerable that it is quite good if you have a Vaishnava worshipper for a Vaishnava temple, but it's okay even if it is someone else. The Brahmin has the right to perform seva. It can be any of the Brahmin. So Mahaprabhuji ordered them to do so. So it means that there was no sign of Pushtibhakti tradition in that temple. Now the third thing about following the Maryada Margiya tradition of worship and Pushtimargiya tradition of worship. Now the first problem with yesterday I tried to explain that the Vigraha, the Swarup of Srinathji is Khandit. I must not use the word, but just for explaining you people, it is broken. It is not the complete form, the Khandit Vigraha. So Maryada Margiya traditions cannot be used if you have a Khandit Vigraha. You cannot worship the deity if the deity is Khandit. So it was not possible for Mahaprabhuji to establish the complete Maryada Margiya tradition in the worship of Srinathji. So whatever was available, however was the situation, Mahaprabhu started the system and later on Gosainji managed it with his own insight and the availability. But even if the method of Pushtimargiya worship is used there, it doesn't mean that the temple can be a Pushtimargiya temple. Traditions have been mixed since these many years. Maryada Margiya traditions are not even possible to be followed in today's period, and we don't even have the availability of the things and people who have the right to perform seva, or perform worship as per Maryada Margiya traditions. So whatever we have for now is the mixed traditions, something from the Maryada Margiya tradition and something with our own brain and with the availability. So the systems have been mixed, the method of worship have been mixed, but we have to be at least clear about the establishment of the deity.
Okay, I understand. So that is why we have the confusion, because it hasn't been clear, like what, like people haven't made it clear, like what is actually going on.
Yeah, things. As I told yesterday, the only role of Sri Mahaprabhuji in the establishment of Srinathji was that Bhagavan Thakurji ordered him that I am here. So Mahaprabhuji went there and established the deity. Same had happened in Dwarka temple also. The Dwarka temple is established by Shankaracharya. But the temple we have in Beta Dwarka, the deity, the Dwarkadish ordered Sri Mahaprabhuji to establish him. But does it mean that Dwarka temple, the Beta Dwarka temple is of Pushtimargiya tradition? Just by being established by Sri Mahaprabhuji? It doesn't mean so. So the only problem we have is that everything is going on in the name of Sri Mahaprabhuji and Pushtibhakti Sampradaya, and the whole temple is being exposed in the name of our Sampradaya. And actually, when Mahaprabhuji would like to oppose the system, Mahaprabhuji has no relation with whatever is going on there. So the main problem is about the wrong propagation. If they remove the name of Mahaprabhuji and our Sampradaya from the tradition, from the temple there, we won't have any objection. Do whatever you like to do. You are not answerable to anyone. But if you are doing so in the name of Mahaprabhuji, then indeed you are answerable to each and every person who is follower of Sri Mahaprabhuji, including the descendants and including the disciples.
Okay, I understand.
Yes, next.
No, Raja, I was just asking that are there definition about Shwas Pratishtha and Parat Pratishtha in Shastras?
Yes. In each and every Agam Tantra. For Vaishnava Agam Tantra, we have the explanations and the methods very well explained in Narada Pancharatra and Shandilya Samhita, and for the other traditions also. For Shaiva, for Shakta, even there we have well explained processes for Swarth and Parat Pratishtha.
Okay, Raja. Raja, can I ask you?
Yes.
Raja, like right now we understood where we are allowed to go and where we should not go. So my question is about Sri Mahaprabhuji's Baitak Ji. Are we allowed to do darshan of that?
See, the problem with the Baitak Ji is a public place. It has to be a public place because Mahaprabhuji is not a deity, Mahaprabhuji is a guru. So for guru, the place of the guru has to be open for each and every disciple. We cannot confine it. So we have the Baitak Ji must be public only. It cannot be private. The first thing. The second thing for now is that even there we are commercializing the system. Formerly, first of all, the Baitak Ji had been divided among the descendants of Sri Mahaprabhuji, and they were established and managed by the descendant of Sri Mahaprabhuji, means about the expenses, and the donation from the public is also accepted. But for now, they are providing the Baitak Jis on rent to the people. They are giving the right to the people, the localites, the businessmen there, and they are running it on the name of those people. And those people have the totally commercial mind. That, for example, I have this much expense, then I have to collect this much money from the people, however it may be possible. So we have the problem with the commercialization of the Baithak Ji. Before some years, we had decided that we will not visit any such Baithak Ji where we find the board of collecting money for Jhari Ji and for Prasad and for having Charan Sparsh, etc. We won't go there. But later on, we decided that if we don't go, how can we protest against the system? So we decided that we must go to such Baithak Ji, but we must not involve ourselves in any of the seva going on there. We must not have Charan Sparsh there. We must not fill the Jhari Ji there. We must just go to have the part. We must go to take blessings from Sri Mahaprabhuji and ask for his forgiveness, that being a disciple, we are not able to protect you. We are not able to protect your dignity. So now we are going there, but we are not participating in any type of seva going on there. In any of the Baithak Ji where we have the boards for asking money for Jhari Ji, Charan Sparsh and for seva. Whoever is asking for money, we are not performing seva there. We are just going for a Dandvat and go to do the part and ask for forgiveness from Mahaprabhuji, our Guru, that we are not able to protect your dignity even after being a disciple of yours. So this is what we are doing for now, and we have published a letter also in which we have been writing to the management that please try to give a dignified position to Sri Mahaprabhuji and to the management there. Don't try to commercialize it to such extent that we feel that you are like beggars. So we have a letter published, and we whoever are the people who agree with those, whatever is written in the letter, we can sign the letter and send it to the management of the Baithak Ji. So this is what we have been doing for now. But wherever we find any type of commercialization, we must not participate in the seva. That's the main thing.
Ji Raja, I understood.
So for protesting, we can go there. Same is for Nathadwar and for Havelis also. If you want to go there and protest, you can indeed go to any such place, but not for being a silent participant.
Ji Raja, samjha.
Well, I think we have discussed the topic very nicely. Even then, if anyone has any confusion, we can discuss it tomorrow. Let us conclude here.
Yes, Raja.
And I'm very happy that all the participants will summarize the topic. I'm very happy.
Okay, Raja. I think tomorrow I need to ask you about the Devdravya, because I have been thinking to ask you from last couple of classes, but I think I'm not getting a chance. But tomorrow I will. I need to clarify something on the Devdravya.
Okay, sure.
Okay, thank you.